Yeah, I just wanted to talk to the voting population of Hillsdale County, just to let you know a little bit about what's going on with your elected officials and your criminal justice system. I say that with uh, with absolute sarcasm and contempt. Um, but anyway, we've got a lot of nepotism and a lot of cronyism especially going on in Hillsdale. But let me tell you what's going on. You've got people that are using their elected positions to go after their political rivals and trying to destroy them. And it's one thing for one candidate to go after another candidate, but it's something completely different when you've got somebody that's in a position of power, elected, put there by the people, and they use that position of power to to an unfair advantage to their political opponents and to their neighbors, to our neighbors in Hillsdale. It's disgusting and it's vile. And so it's something I wanted to bring out and let everybody know a little something that's going on. You had for a commissioner's race, you had Mark Wiley, who is the incumbent, and Kelly Mapes, who is running against him for the commissioner seat. During that race, Mark Wiley's dead neighbor, John Letcher, filed a FOIA report to get all of Kelly Mapes's personnel information from all of the years. She worked over 30 or 35 years for the health department in Hillsdale and got that information. But it was a little bit more than just your regular personnel information. And somehow that information made it to Rondi Butcher. Rondi Butcher was running for mayor of Hillsdale, who's also backed by J.J. Hodshire and Scott Hodshire, the sheriff. Now, she didn't want to put it out because she was running for office. So she asked Miss Asher if Miss Asher would put it out, and Miss Asher did. So when Kelly found out that information was out, she contacted Miss Asher and said, "How'd you get this information, and why'd you put it online?" And she admitted that Rondi Butcher told her to, and she showed the instant messages from Rondi Butcher that said, "Hey, I've got this dirt." I'm paraphrasing now. "I've got this dirt on Kelly Mapes. I need it to go out, but I can't do it because I'm running for mayor. So would you do it for me?" So Miss Asher did. So Miss Asher, when she was contacted about it, she came clean and told what she knew about why she was asked to do it and who asked her to do it. So Kelly started doing a little bit of research and she found this FOIA from John Letcher, who's deceased, who happened to used to be Mark Wiley's neighbor, and his wife Donna Letcher, who's still Mark Wiley's neighbor. And so she found paperwork from Donna Letcher to the health department as well. Oddly, her name was spelled wrong. How does someone spell their last name wrong? But her last name was spelled wrong on that FOIA. So you can leave it to your own imagination because Mark Wiley sits on the board of the health department. But anyway, so Kelly was a little angry. So she sent a message to Mark Wiley's wife because of all the stuff that was going out and what she found. And she told Mark Wiley's wife that she should service her husband better at home so that she didn't go to the neighbor, so that he didn't go to the neighbor's house and get and I won't say it, a BJ. Now that upset Mark Wiley's wife, and so she went to the sheriff, who her husband controls the budget of, and made a complaint. The sheriff then took it to the attorney, took it to Neil Brady, who's the prosecutor, and Neil Brady then took it to Lance Benzing, who used to work at the sheriff's department, that is now a magistrate under Megan Stiverson, whose husband works at the sheriff's department. Oh, and they put out an arrest warrant for Kelly. And so Kelly went and turned herself in. She paid her bond, but this is what they charged her with. They charged her with Michigan Compiled Law 750.540 ED. And it says, using vulgar, indecent, or obscene or offensive language or suggesting any lewd or lascivious act in the course of a conversation or message through the use of a telecommunications service or device. Well, Joe Hendy was talking in a debate page with Rondi Butcher, who is mayor candidate Rondi Butcher, in which Rondi Butcher sent a message to Joe, and she said, Go F your mom, Joe. Okay. Hmm, that falls under the same thing. Plus, then Rondi got on there and attacked Joe's wife and Joe's 16-year-old daughter. Now, the odd thing is this: Joe has just gone to two different state police posts, one in Jackson and one in Sturgis. And when he tried to make a complaint and give that instant message to them and file the complaint on it, both troopers said, that statute hasn't been prosecuted in like forever because it falls under the First Amendment for free speech. And I have to agree with them. It does. It falls under 100% free speech. Our Supreme Court has said that the protections to speech are for unpopular speech because popular speech doesn't need to be protected. Unpopular speech does. And political speech has the highest privilege in the First Amendment. So, understanding this, now you've got a sheriff that understands the Constitution less than the state police. And you've got a prosecuting attorney that understands the Constitution less than the sheriff. And you've got a judge and a magistrate that are all connected to the sheriff's department and all under Mark Wiley's uh, uh, budgetary constraints as being on the county commission. Hmm, boy, there's no conflict of interest there or anything ethical wrong there. In fact, when Brad Benzing, a relation of Lance Benzing, who is a county commissioner and assaulted a constituent, that constituent raised such a stink with Brady because Brady said, well, he couldn't prosecute it because Brad Benzing was a commissioner. So she finally got him to send it to the attorney general's office. The attorney general got the prosecutor from Branch County to take it, and that prosecutor did go and get a judge. They filed charges on Brad Benzing. Now we all know how that went. Of course, they're not held to a higher standard; they're held to a different standard. That doesn't make it a higher standard. And so Neil said he couldn't prosecute that one. Well, how is it that Neil can prosecute this one when Mark Wiley controls his budget and Mark Wiley's wife is the one making the complaint? And similar complaints that have gone to the state police said, no, we won't even take a report on it because it's free speech. Now think about what's happening to your neighbors in this town. Now think of the stress of being uh, arrested for free speech. Is what they said vulgar? Yes. Is what they said something they probably shouldn't have? Yes. People say things in anger all the time that they don't really mean. But it wasn't threatening. It wasn't harassing. It was both, only did it one time. So why does one get prosecuted, but one gets money from J.J. Hodshire and supported by Sheriff Hodshire to run for mayor, who, by the way, won't even show up for a debate? Oh, that's right. The sheriff wouldn't show up for a debate either. So I just want you all to realize that elections matter, and it's important that you elect the proper people. Find out who they are. There's a lot of people that claim to be things that they're not. I can call myself a zebra and I can go to the zoo every Sunday. That doesn't make me a zebra. So you've got a lot of people that claim a lot of things. They preach a lot of principles, but I'm here to tell you principles only work when they're practiced, not when they're preached. Thank you for listening. Have a good night.